Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Straight Talk Vermont show. I'm Bruce Wilson. I have an incredible guest here today. Before we talk to our guest, let's talk about Art So Wonderful, which is one of our programs. This is our mural season. That's arts, A-R-T-S, sowonderful.com. This is our mural season where we create murals and we curate our murals. And so we have a lot of our murals sometimes get tagged, or they call bomb the wall. And we have to go out and fix them because we don't want our murals tagged or bombed. They always got to look good. And so right now at Thorson, way downtown Burlington, it's incredible. That's one of our places. We have like over, 15 murals down there. And we have a few more spots to finish. And then so far we're conditioning them, making sure they stay nice and beautiful. And we have artists working down there priming the walls for these other 3 or 4 places we have. And so we're excited about our mural season. If on Juneteenth, we put a big mural in Community Bank, you can probably see it, it's a big old fist up there, gigantic, in Burlington. It's so nice, and I want to thank Isaiah for doing that, and our team, Art So Wonderful team, for putting that mural up there, and the City of Burlington for sponsoring us for doing it. And so now I'd like to introduce you to my good friend, CJ Spirito, yes sir, from Rock Point School in Burlington, Vermont. So how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, Bruce. Thanks for inviting me on.
No doubt about it. You know, it's always good to see you. Rarely we see each other. A lot of times we have for over 30 years, right?
That's right, long time.
30 years, bro.
Yeah.
That's a long time. And I love your school. Rock Point School in Burlington, right there near the North Beach.
That's right. Yep. Between North Beach and Burlington High School.
Yeah, and Burlington High School, between the both, right? Yeah. And when I go there, the rare times I get to go to Rock Point School, boy, do I feel like I'm a part of that place. And I look around, I was like, look at Rock Point School, see all those cool kids. So you've been a part of, so your title is?
Yep. Head of school.
Head of school.
Yep.
And you've been head of school since you have different roles, but.
2011, I've been 15 years head, I've been at the school for 36.
Right, so you started in 1990.
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah, and so you have an incredible staff, because I met a lot of them. And so your grade levels that's in your school are 9 through 12.
9 through 12. Once in a great while I have a PG student, but mostly it's 9 through 12.
What's that?
So if someone has actually finished high school, but they're not quite ready to make the next step yet, whether that's living on their own in the work field or going to college, they might come to us and do our senior curriculum, but adjusted. They might do an internship or a job while they're in school to kind of get themselves ready.
So, wow, so this is co-ed there, right?
Yep.
And you could a lot of different types of youth go to your school, right?
Yeah, our students come from, about half of them are from Vermont. We have 25 to 30 kids a year. Half from Vermont, a small number from Burlington, but then the rest of them are from all over the country.
Wow.
Yep.
Isn't that awesome?
It's great. It's nice to have the diversity.
No, man. It's like, and then, so how do they like the kids that come from, well, you say half of them come from Vermont?
Yep.
So the other half come from all around different places around the country. How do the kids from around the country like Vermont?
How do they like Vermont? That's a great question. I'd say they love it, but I'm going to liken it to, I was with some friends and had some food and loved the food, and years later tried the food again and thought the food wasn't that great, but I love the food because of the company. And so I'm not sure how much they love Vermont because Vermont's amazing, Burlington's amazing, it's beautiful, or because they found a place that accepted them for who they are, and they started to get their own voice, and they associated that with Vermont. But either way, they do love Vermont.
So what's your basic or general curriculum for from 9 to 12 graders?
Sure. So we have 5 core classes, math, English, science, art, history, and we have students that travel in a core, and they will go through this curriculum during the day, and how they get it done is different. The staff are amazing. They're brilliant folks. They're energetic, love kids, but very creative. They meet the student where they are, and they help to teach them. You know, we call it pitching to their bat. Like, we find out where they are, and we meet them there, and then kind of tease them forward step by step as they want to expand and learn how to think critically, grow, communicate in writing and verbally. That happens during the day. We have, you know, classes. We have a work crew, elective classes. Then we have a study hall supervised by the teachers. That's one-on-one in small group. And then it shifts into a afternoon for phys ed or sports. And that's when the res ed team takes over. And they work evening during the week and all weekend. And it's these two programs together that build the curriculum of introducing opportunities to the students to have them create their own story. The students they come from a place where they believe that they're not good enough as they are. They're too tall, too short, too fat, too thin, not smart enough, whatever it might be. And they come to Rock Point, and it's a clean slate, and they get to start rewriting their story.
Nice, right? I know, because, like, I know for myself, you know, as growing up, you know, from South Side Chicago, my folks put me into a private high school. You know, I was in traditional high school. I wasn't doing really well, and I think it's because like a lot of other people, you know, a lot of other students at that age group coming through high school, they just used to feel like, you know, you fit in sometimes, and sometimes you feel like that you're, you know, just who you are, just don't blend in, or. You know, there's a lot of reasons for, you know, for feeling that way, to feeling the way we do. And when I went to the Central downtown Chicago, I started getting A's and B's, you know, and ultimately going to Northwestern University. But
congratulations.
Well, that was back. Those kids today, now, they'd be like 4.04 smarter than their professors, you know, today, you know. But anyways, so the students. I can understand, you know, some of the students who might feel different than other students or other youth their age group, and I need some alternatives to some of the things that better ways to be themselves.
Yeah.
And a curriculum that's designed primarily, like, you know, he said that they bring you throw the ball at the bat. You know, how wonderful is that?
Yeah.
You might get a grand slam. I'm gonna throw the ball right at the bat.
But they have to swing it.
You gotta swing though, right? That's the name of the game. You gotta swing it though. You know, time is gonna be good. And so so that's so important that we give students a chance to be themselves based on who they are. You know, and all my youth advisory boards and I opened up 5 youth centers in the state and 2 art galleries, and all my youth. We're saying what we believe in. You know, we help them with their goals, dreams, and aspirations based on who they want to be, what they want to be. You know, I remember one time I said to a youth that we was doing, they was doing building something. Or youth from Youth Build. I was one of the, I was mentor coordinator, and I said they were building like a birdhouse. I said, wow. You should be a carpenter. You know. I know these people. You know, you could be journeyman or whatever, you know, and they said, no, I want to be a pediatrician. And that took the light bulb came on. I mean, like, help them where they want to do in life, not.
That's so interesting, because I think that we don't really know beyond what we see.
Right.
There's so much going on in any one of us, you know. And I think that even with that, you know, we have to be curious. And that's what Rock Point we do. We're very curious with our students and our families and our staff, and we want to understand and ask questions to see what they want. And sometimes they don't know what they want.
Right.
And so what we try and do is try and quiet the world, not hide from it, but quiet it down and say, what voice is your voice and what voice is being marketed to you by Facebook or Instagram or whatever it might be, and listen to your own self. Maybe you do want to be a pediatrician, but you wouldn't know that if you're getting all these other messages. How do you quiet things out to find out what your true interest is?
That's true. So for me, creating Youth Build Burlington mentoring program. First, and these youth are 16 to 24-year-olds. Some of those youth, all type of youth like the ones we work with, and some of them are in high risk, economically challenged, live in high risk environment, and some of them been like, I used to work at Woodside Juvenile Rehabilitation Center, some of them came to Woodside, and so so I'm like, dang, it's not your traditional mentoring program that I have to try to, because usually it's from K through 12 that you go through this mentoring, like matching with this person, they should be the same, male and male, blah, blah, blah. And none of them really fit that no more than the basic ways how you can create mentoring for youth. And so how did I possibly could ever do that? And so that's the way I did it. I asked them what their goals, dreams, and aspiration was and what they wanted to do in life. And I learned from that one person with the carpentry thing. And that and they all told me, and so I would match them with a person that with who they wanted to be. One person wanted to be a software engineer. And I said, okay. So I matched them with a person, a software engineer at the time at IBM. And I found out that it was a win-win-win situation, and because first of all, it was like even me, I was in the so-called mentees. No mentees in my program, though. All mentors. Everybody learn from each other. The thing is that I said to one youth, for the mentors, and I found it to be a win-win-win situation because they said, Bruce, let's go to Ben & Jerry's tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to this. Let's go to. I want some Chunky Monkey or some Cherry Garcia. And then the next day, Bruce, let's go to the library. I'm like, I don't feel well. The next day, I don't. No, can we go another day? So that would have win-win. So now when they say, Bruce, let's go to IBM to put on the bunny suit for me some software engineer. Yay! Bruce, let's go to Ben & Jerry's. And the next, So it always was a win-win situation. So I learned, I still use that today with all the youth I work with. I always ask how I meet, which your goals, dreams, and aspirations. Sometimes they don't know what they want to do. But everybody have want to be a ballerina, want to be a fireman, want to be a policeman, want to be something.
It sounds like you were tied into. You knew them, and you had a relationship, and there's a trust there for them to open up and share, exploring what they possibly could be. And that same thing happens at Rock Point, that we, in terms of mentoring, we don't call them mentors, but every adult and student, there's a connection with, I'm the head of school, I do development, fundraising, trustee work, but I also know every kid in the school, and every staff knows every student, and they build relationships, and there's an organic chemistry with some more than others, and you find that connection, and things grow, and they get curious, and they want to try things because they're meeting an adult that has interest in them, and they want to try things. And that, I guess that also, again, this academic and the dorm, and then working together make the possibilities really fly.
Yeah, your students are so amazing, I know they've done some community service for us for many times, for themselves, not for me, but they design more art stuff. They did some graffiti removal and art on underneath the Winooski Bridge. I remember when we had a big dance at one of the Winooski High School, and they came and did some backdrops or something they did there for us. Old North Youth Center. A lot of different things, and so it's those type of things, the art and passion that they have, that's the same thing that we were both talking about. Let them let them be and do who they are, And like I say, I never had a mentoring program as far as where I work for Youth for Burlington, but my organization are so wonderful, and Straight Tough Mind, all the programs, and all the youth chill out centers. We never called a youth a mentee because if you can't learn from them, then you gotta learn from them. So they're the mentors, and they gotta learn from you, and you're the mentor. So there's no mentees.
That makes sense.
And we don't call nobody a mentee ever in our program ever. It's just how's that? Because first of all, they're gonna feel that if I'm a mentee, then they're supposed to learn everything from me. And their ideas and suggestions are not valid, and they shouldn't be able to share them with me. And so there's a lot of cases.
A bunch of years ago, we had a committee working on the solar farm at Rock Point, and the solar panels were new on the property, And so there were a bunch of folks connected to the Rock Point property that were trying to figure out how's this working and what's the math with it and the finances with it. And after a few years, I said, what do you think about bringing some students into the committee? And the response was, well, do they want to see adults bumbling around trying to figure things out? I said, yeah, let's pull the curtain. You know, the Wizard of Oz, like that we're all bushwhacking.
Right.
We're all learning.
Yes.
We're all growing. And they came in, the students were fantastic.
Yes.
And just to see that they were not, us adults don't have everything all figured out. We're all trying to figure it out a step at a time.
Right.
And that was a gift. And that's happened in many different forms at the school over and over again.
Nice, that's nice. You know, that's why CJ. That's why we, you know, we've been friends for over 30 years because we think a lot alike on certain things, and like I created youth on city boards for the city of Burlington. Like they sit on police commission, planning commission, school boards, and all because one of the reasons why, you know, what you just said, you talked to the rest of the trustees and the board members about. And they ask you, well, what you think? Well, what you think they want to be interested? Yeah, everything we do is for them anyway, right? Everything, all the work you and I do, and everybody do is for the younger generation. And same with the younger generation, they do it for even that younger generation.
Right.
So it's all about, yes, they should be involved, and we should hear their ideas and suggestions on what's next and what they think. And it's not blue this year. No, it's pink. Oh well, how we know that must be as they tell us, you know. And so we stopped. Youth on City Board stopped when COVID hit. So I was in the city council meeting last month and talking to the mayor and the city council, letting them know that we about to bring youth on boards back, city boards back up, and we had got it amended. It was working really well. You know, kind of really well. When I had the meeting with the youth, they would say that, you know, it works real good. It's good for, you know, our resume for calling press kit or whatever it is, you know, job application. But it's meaning they didn't feel, in this powerful position, but they wasn't able to vote. They was able to vote, but they would never count because of their age group name.
Right.
And so we got it amended into now, because I was told in the city council one year that what the youth had said, they'd sit on their boards and commission, and they said, and I said, while I'm here, and I had, of course, I'm always having youth with me, you know me. They said, is that we need to get it amended where their vote counts.
Yeah.
And so they did. So now their vote count.
Great.
Isn't that nice? So now, because it's good, like, you know, you and I talking, and the whoa, yay or nay, you know, everybody say yay, and then you say yay, and they vote don't count. That don't make no sense.
Sure.
No damn sense at all. So now we got it amended.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be working on it. This was last month or something when I talked to the city council about, we about to bring it back up. You know what? And I'm thinking now I'm thinking about it, there should be some students from Rock Point to be on that, and they on city boards, because this is Burlington, you know, right?
Yeah, I'd love that.
That'd be awesome.
And to be a range. Some students won't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole, and some students will jump in and they'll love it, you know.
Sure.
But I think what you're doing over the decades, I totally agree with in terms of active doing things. And so, you know, I was talking with a friend of Rock Point years ago, and I can't remember what was going on, the pain of the day. It was political or it was environmental. These things that are going on that are making it harder for young people to be in the world, to be positive, because so much is caustic and challenging. And I told him a story about, you know, our academic team created some education around the Winooski River and, you know, the floodings that happen around the state. And they went to Friends of the Winooski, and they got some education around that, went down to Norwich, and they were pulling Japanese knotweed and doing some work. And we went to this park, and the woman was explaining how that park, you know, a few years ago was a neighborhood. And they had gotten rid of all the houses because they had educated the town that that's a flood area, and if they gave people a fair value for their property, they could go move somewhere else, and they could just make that a flood area. The first big rain that came and flooded, all the silt came into the field, and the town called the Friends of Winooski and said, there's all this silt in the field. And they said, exactly, it's not in your downtown, it's where it's supposed to be. And then nobody got their houses flooded, and it worked. And the students heard that, and they helped plant trees, because trees were catching 30% of the rain and helping slow it down. You know, and so they were able to do something and not just be fretting about the environment.
Right.
And so then when we had an event in March that year, a maple run. We have a sugaring house at the school, and students do sugaring with the Rock Point property in combination with folks. And we wanted to raise money for the race, and they said, what do you want to put the money towards? Because they do an Ookie Spooky run in the fall for COTS. It's been 25 years. And when we asked the students what they want the money to go to, they said Friends of the Winooski, because they did something, they learned about it, and they wanted to put the money where their mouth was. Like, let's support this because it's helpful.
That's so important, That's so important. And like I sit on Chittenden County Regional Planning Commission board, and I represent housing and social economics. But one thing they asked me to do is, because we are part of clean water for the state. When I represent the RPC on clean water, and I'm like, man, why not? Man, I don't know damn thing about clean water. No more than like, that's clean water. That's look at that's clean water. And that's all I knew about it. Really, I didn't really know really not much about it. But I had some ideas about it, but not a lot. And so then Climate Council asked me to be on the Climate Council. I said, oh yeah, because they go together. So now, I'm learning so much about clean water and brownfields and Climate Council and climate and so I'm so happy to do that. And some youth asked me. I told them what I was doing. They want to be a part of the clean water part, and I'm gonna let them be a part of it.
Well, what great modeling that you showed. I got to learn too, and you were doing it. Good for you.
I know, it's so funny. Like Americans, we're so funny. Like it's like. Oh, that ain't no clean water. There's a bug in it. It's clean water, but since there's a bug in there, throw it out, right? A person who don't have clean water like that, they say, wow, oh God, it's clean water, and there's a bug in it. Dang, nutrition too. And
extra protein.
Extra protein. The smart person.
Right.
A smart person, And so I'm just saying, and having a funny joke with that, but it's true.
Well, I think gratitude's really important. And we stress that at Rock Point, being aware of what we have and being grateful for that. And because you talked about one person throwing the water out, someone else drinking the bug down because it's what you have, someone else doesn't have.
Right.
And so I think our students have different learnings around that. And again, the dorm staff, res eds, and the teachers work together on teaching the empathy and understanding and how they can value what's important. So
when your classes start back up? It's coming up sometime.
Well, we start the Sunday after Labor Day, and this year Labor Day is pretty late, so we don't start till September 13th.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know they loving that.
Yeah, it's
what's
great.
wrong with that? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey,
Well, there's no rush in life. We gotta take our time.
Rock Point is not a traditional school, anyways.
That's right.
It's traditional and not non-traditional.
Absolutely.
It's just like it is. It kind of like it is what it is. But you do have a curriculum, objectives, agendas, and protocol.
Well, we're intentionally small,
Yeah.
and part of that is that we want to be able to meet students where they are and do what makes sense for that individual. And so it gives us a lot of we're a small boat, so we can tack easily to change direction and help things out. So when it's a calendar change, or whether it's a curriculum for a kid, or how we're communicating with parents, we can do things much more personalized.
No, I meant to ask you, I don't know how many times, that incredible, unique building that you got in your school you're in. So now, how'd that come to be? Where'd that damn building come from? It's so beautiful inside. It's so nice and unique.
Yep. Thanks for asking it. There's two parts of it. One was there's a big stone part when you're looking at it. That was built in 1887 as a school for girls, and that stayed open until 1920-ish. And then it closed. In 1928, it reopened. Going into the Great Depression, a small group of Episcopalians realized that some families needed help, and so there was a homesteading school, but quickly became a school that kids were doing high school curriculum and going off to college. And that's our Rock Point 2.0. So that was 1928. So we're approaching our 100th year of the new school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's always been named Rock Point.
Yep, Rock Point School.
I know, I saw the big old, right up there on the stone, Rock Point. So,
right.
God. And so I was like, so wow, isn't that awesome?
Well, on the stone, it says Bishop Hopkins Hall.
Oh, okay.
And the story behind that is Bishop Hopkins was the first. Well, the school is under the umbrella of the Episcopal Church. We're our own 501c3. We're an independent school. Yet we're allowed to exist because the Episcopal Church shares the property and the school building with us. So we do our own curriculum, our own teaching, separate from the church, but with the grace of the church, we're able to function. The Bishop Hopkins was the first bishop of Vermont and of the United States for the Episcopal Church.
Well, is it like from Chicago, the bishop?
I don't think it was from Chicago. I think he was down south, Tennessee perhaps. At some point he was down there. And he came to Vermont, and he was the bishop during the Civil War. And there was a big push by some people about slavery, and he actually wrote a pamphlet supporting slavery. And people challenged that, and he wrote a big book supporting it. And so that became a stressor within the church. And I'd say maybe 8 years ago, some students said, "Why do you have this painting of this guy, big old beard, in the front hall, when he believed in slavery?" And we were like, "That's a good question." Of course, the students stirred the conversation. So we did a book study with the diocese, people in the diocese, and we talked about his position. Some students said, "Let's get rid of the painting, just destroy it." Some students, "You can't change it because it's history, it's our history, we can't change that." But in our process with students, the students and staff together wrote a statement, which basically says, Bishop Hopkins was a really smart, talented person that helped the foundation of the school. The school started 25 years after he died. His son started the school. And he believed in slavery, which is something we don't agree with. But we all have things that we struggle with, and we want to stand against this position. So we support us taking the painting out of the front hall and doing a small pen and ink drawing of him with this statement being on the wall. And that was the compromise that we landed. So each year we review that statement with students, say, "Do we still agree with this? What do you think?" And it's pretty solid. They might change a little few words here and there, but
Yeah, well, Vermont didn't agree with slavery either. On unity and freedom, you know,
Right.
is our I don't want to call it a motto. What do you call it?
Right.
I don't want to call it the motto. You know, what I mean, like unity and freedom is our well,
motto.
Motto. That's kind of sound weird, kind of sound cheap, but
Oh. So
yeah.
I showed that to show an example of the type of students we have are thinkers, and they are active, and they want to know why, and they don't want to just go along with things because you're supposed to do it. They march to the beat of their own drum.
Okay, so now that you said that, we talked a little earlier about me going, probably you too, going to conferences at Bishop Booth Conference Center down on that property. Now, did he own the whole property down there? Was it with the
So the diocese owns the whole property, and now there's Rock Point Center, and that's part of Rock Point. So there's Rock Point Center, the diocese, and Rock Point School is Rock Point Commons, the whole property there.
Gotcha.
So we're a big piece of the property. But at 3 years ago, there was an opportunity. The school district was looking for a place for some students, and the diocese needs some help maintaining buildings, so they made a 30-year lease agreement. And so now down at the end of the property where Bishop Booth Conference Center used to be, is now Eagle Bay Academy and Rock Point Spirituality and Nature Center. And it's a great opportunity for kids who aren't working out in the regular curriculum to be from Burlington to go there, and we're another option. So we work as, our students come when they've maxed out public options. We work complementary, and the Eagle Bay Academy is yet another part of that spectrum of education. So we offer different opportunities for kids with different challenges.
That's it. That's nice though. I guess it works out well for everybody, you know. So that's good. And you say like 60 students go down there at Eagle Bay.
We have 25 to 30, and they have about 60.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's so nice to have more students. Students that you can actually know all the students' names like you do, and your staff know all the students' names,
right?
And that be able to work with them on like a macro and a group setting, any micro and one-on-one, to learn more about ways how we can get better and things like that. And I think it's a little more challenging for 60 students, to do that with 60 students. I mean, I at Northwestern, if you get to see your professor down the hall, you better grab him right there, because you like in an arena, like looking down, you better grab him. If you see she in the hallway, you better grab that person.
You can run, but you can't hide.
You're right, and so so I really appreciate it. So what you got? What's the last things you have to say for our show? We're about to end now.
Wow, that went by quickly. You're right.
Yeah.
I'd love to say that Rock Point School is an amazing opportunity for students who are bright and creative, and they're on the periphery and things aren't working, But if you want to check us out, rockpointschool.org, we'll be glad to tell you about the school, show you around, explain things, and see if it's a possibility for your young person.
Nice. I mean, you got a nice kitchen now. Look half of that cheese. Your chef.
Well, not just a nice kitchen. The chef's amazing.
The chef is so passionate about that food. I made this, and I made that. I forget his name. I mean, one of them.
Charles.
Charles, man. Charles, the man. I'm like.
Yeah, come by for lunch sometime.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I just might have to. Give me a reason to ride my bike down there.
Yeah.
I'll be there. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thanks for giving me some time to hear about your journey again and talk about the school. I think that it all works together to support you.
I love Rock Point, man. I think every student should go to have some type of way to be a part of Rock Point, because we all have this journey within ourselves, and we all have this like this mind over matter type stuff that we all feel this certain ways, and I'm an individual, and I have my own personality. You're an individual, you have your own personality. You're one, and I'm one. That person one, that person one. Everybody's the same, though. Not the same, but have their own personality, and we're all individuals. And so because of that, we think differently, and nobody's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We just have to figure out. Sometimes, you just gotta learn. People we just gotta be ourselves, and we gotta express ourselves. You know what I mean? And like we need places like Rock Point School to help us with being expressive with ourselves. And then and also actually do the work like you say your students do. They actually do the work. You know what I mean? Boots on the ground, man. And so. I really appreciate that so much.
And the beauty is that there isn't one school for every kid. Every kid shouldn't come to Rock Point, but there's a wide spectrum of opportunity, and people that need Rock Point, it's the right place to come.
Yes, sir. All right, CJ.
Thanks,
Good
Bruce.
to see you, sir. Thank you for joining the Straight Talk Vermont show, everybody, and I'll see you next time.